After 3 years of ranking Halloween specials, I decided to spice things up by instead ranking media that scared us silly back in the day. I figured this will give us a variety of things that are actually creepy, and also things that we really have to dissect. So for example, I was petrified of Scrappy-Doo peeing on Daphne as a kid. Not in an ew, gross type of way. It consumed my thoughts to the point where I asked my entire family what I should think about. It was genuinely distressing. Memories. Because of the way my brain works, I avoided scary things for a long time until I met my husband, whose love of horror made me curious, and I discovered that I do enjoy horror, and it's way closer to comedy than you'd think. The formula to get a laugh versus a scare is almost identical. You have to catch someone when their guard is down, and then there's either a punchline for a chuckle or something freaky that makes you jump out of your seat. And either way, you waggle your finger and think, they got me, those bastards. Here's the thing, this environment really doesn't fit the vibe, so let's borrow Shakarama's studio for a bit. Here we are in my husband's studio, and you know what? No, I gotta add some cute stuff. I'll be right back. Okay, now we're ready.
Your video tipping the shop. I do.
Happy Halloween, butt lovers. Welcome back to the Ranking Things series. As always, I take your suggestions over on my Instagram at AthenaPLore or on my Discord. Before we begin, let's talk about the scariest thing of all. Advertisements. While I'm getting dressed up for Halloween, why don't I also dress up the sponsor of today's video, Cash App. The Cash App card is a debit card connected to your Cash App balance, and as you can see, there are so many different customization tools. You can pick from a bunch of different colors and materials, and even draw directly on the card if you're artsy like that. Ooh, and dare I say la la. There are no monthly expenses with the Cash App card, or minimum balance requirements, just cool exclusive benefits, such as the exclusive cardholder discounts. That's right, Cash App customers get exclusive discounts on things like coffee, boba, video games, and more. Did you catch Sabrina Carpenter's latest show? Well, Cash App has actually partnered with major artist tours, giving cardholders exclusive pre-sale access before general ticket sales open. For a limited time, Cash App customers over 18 years old can earn $10 if they use the code CASH10 in their profile during sign-up, and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Download Cash App today by scanning the QR code on screen or clicking the link in my description. Thank you so much to Cash App for sponsoring this video. Now back to our usual chaos. Starting off strong with the walrus episode of Pingu. And can I just say, Pingu in general is very mean-spirited. Every clip I see from this series is either Pingu pissing himself or being spanked. Props to Hit Entertainment for their dedication to claymation back in the day. But fuck this episode and this show, honestly. The Pingu fans are not gonna like this, but after this video, I'm doing a no newt November. I will say the out-of-context clip that just starts with the walrus smiling is a lot scarier, because at least in the 4-minute episode, there was enough foreshadowing to semi-prepare us. We're still not prepared, but at least we know there's a giant creature. But the huge smile, and the sheer size, and the low laugh that makes his mustache move. I know he's a villain in a kid's nightmare, but the sheer joy he gets from tormenting Pingu, and eating the alive mattress like a candy bar. Even now, I have a physical reaction. I saw my hand moving up to the screen and I really had to amp myself up. I'm 27 years old. I can watch this. No, I can't. Why does he have human teeth instead of tusks? Not only does the Pingu wiki very generously interpret this character as playful, when he is indeed a predator playing with his food. Look at the way he keeps sniffing with those nasty nostrils moving. But the Pingu wiki also says that kids in the United States were not scared by this. That is not true. Where did you get this idea from? That thing will still appear in my nightmares. We gotta put it at the highest tier, which is of course, I shat. This is my first time watching Paranorman, and I should have known it was gonna be good because it was made by Laika Studios. There is so much heart in this. I just feel like this demographic is pretty hard to advertise to. I feel like people saw the trailers and assumed it was for all kids, but it really didn't hold back at all. There was mild cursing. This movie even opens up with Norman watching a sleazy horror movie with his dead grandmother, and even describes it as murder and sex. The dad being a homophobic conservative was the biggest jump scare.
That limp-wristed hippie garbage.
Like, yes, it makes sense for the underdog story and the othering of Norman because he's doing things out of the norm. Oh my god. Well, that is why it's called paranormal, because it's... Yeah, no, that wasn't... I didn't discover something. Anyway, his dad, this goateed spherical man, even looks like my estranged father. Ew. This isn't even the scene you pointed out to me, but I'm already scared. As Norman walks around the very Salem-like town, he talks to Roadkill, dead mobsters, all sorts of colorful characters, but no one else sees them, so he looks very unwell. And how do we help people who need psychological help? We of course write freak on their locker. That'll show them. Norman befriends another bullied kid, Neil, and it's nice because he finally befriended someone alive. And at the beginning of this movie, Neil is so well written. He overshares and has no filter in a way that feels so real.
And my allergies make my eyes leak. And I sweat when I walk too fast. And I have a lunchbox with a kitten on it. Ooh, and I have irritable bowel syndrome.
Norman's uncle, who was banished, stalks the kids to back Norman into a corner and warn him about the bad omens and witches, but he can't stop coughing in his face, which is disgusting. I would try walking away too. But he doesn't leave until Norman's new friend Neil threatens to throw spicy hummus at him. I thought this would come back. I thought that would be like a weakness of all of the ghosts. No, his uncle is just weird as fuck.
Don't make me throw this hummus. It's spicy.
But then the old coot drops dead, and his fucked up job of holding back the curse is now passed on to Norman, who keeps seeing visions of the witch trials with pilgrims. We have gross out throughout, like Norman wrestling with his dead uncle, and the uncle's white, unbrushed tongue falls onto Norman's face. Oh, and did I mention this is the tongue of a dead man? Yeah, we also met Neil's dog, who I guess was split in half when he was run over. Oh my god. I will say, they made this dog so happy, it swung back around to being cute somehow, and we don't see it for very long anyway. The whole movie is a giant anti-witch hunt PSA, because as much as we like to think humans have progressed beyond that, it's all just been repackaged. Please skip ahead to the ranking if you haven't seen the end of this movie, but the reveal of the witch being a sniffling, scared child, and then that same child being made of lightning, the anger consuming her entirely, that art is incredible. I cannot fathom how they did this with stop motion. Like, even with editing, I know it wasn't entirely stop motion, but still, just stunning work. Striking, even, because lightning. I will say, Norman's speech pissed me off. Even in my Letterboxd review, I wrote that I docked a star, because don't ever compare Agatha to those demons ever again. Let her have her revenge. This more so is a sad moment. Maybe I should rank sad moments. Oh my gosh, I'll just be crying nonstop. So I'm gonna put this in ICY, but I'm not scared, because like I said, it would just elicit a completely different emotion out of me. But fear? No. I got quite a lot of recommendations for Invader Zim's Dark Harvest, and on Discord, someone even said, I've always thought Zim doesn't feel like a Nickelodeon show, it feels like a Cartoon Network show. I've always thought this. Cartoon Network in the 2000s felt like the edgiest of the trifecta. Nickelodeon was more parents just don't understand Skater Boy, and Disney has always been Disney. This episode opens up with Zim calling us humans fragile. He's not wrong. He calls our organs inferior for not being able to withstand a dodgeball to the gut, but then he has a very similar pained reaction, but in his squealy spooch. Thank God I didn't watch this show growing up, because that would have been an impossible vocal stim to kick, and I was already dealing with, ow, my scapula! We get to see Dib's obsession with Zim, as he is the only person that wants Zim to be captured and studied, but sometimes his obsession borders on.
To defeat my enemy, I must study my enemy, then become my enemy, then move in with my enemy, then wear my enemy's clothes, then...
Does he want to be Zim? Want to be with Zim? All of the above? I think the last time I covered Invader Zim was in a Christmas special video, and the school's vibe always surprises and delights me. It's like a prison, but a steampunky, futuristic prison. Actually, being here would be hell, but I adore how one-of-a-kind it is. The hall pass is like an ankle monitor. We get this round hallway made up of doors. Science, physics, chemistry, biology, those are all sciences. Detention, nurse, taxidermy. Zim worries that the nurse examining the pigeon on his head will find out that his organs are different, so he starts taking organs from everyone in school and replacing them with random shit. First, he replaces one of the hall monitor's organs with the hall pass, then the nurse's brain with a can of, like, soapy beans. Look at the way it foams out of her mouth. Thanks, I hate it. Gaz has her video game inside her body that she continues to play through her skin. People being completely desensitized to the horrors of this world is the most horrific thing of all. Actually, no, it isn't. It's this shot of Zim overflowing with organs. They're seen in the back of his throat. He throws up an intestine before slurping it back up like spaghetti. I'm sick to my stomach. Then how about you replace your stomach with this clown horn? I didn't even swap them yet. She can just do that? Actually, you can keep it. I don't want it. Dib finds the last child to not have any organs replaced other than him, and when he approaches this jock Torque and asks him about his organs, Torque checks for himself, poking and prodding through his skin to check and see if all of his organs are still there. And he confirms, yeah, he didn't get to me yet. The show is so funny, but so upsetting. Why are they all like this? I'm gonna spoil the ending because my jaw dropped. The nurse commends Zim for being so healthy with his plentiful amount of organs, so Zim was correct in his alien assumption that the more organs you have, the healthier you are. But poor Dib, who had one of his organs replaced with this mooing toy, was labeled as a non-human freak. And the last thing we see is this headline: hideous mooing cyborg boy found. Moo, says boy. I don't even know if we're supposed to be rooting against Dib, but I feel so bad for him. We have body horror mixed with rage bait. Got it. Consider me creeped out and angry. This is going in no thank you, but I'll be okay. Mike Wazowski in the credits of Finding Nemo. Now this is what I'm talking about. This is the specificity I was looking for, because we really have to break this down. I didn't even know Mike Wazowski was featured in the end credits of Finding Nemo, so let's watch this together. Somewhere beyond the sea, there's Mike Wazowski. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna vouch for you here. While I'm not shaking in fear, it's not somebody you would expect in this environment. Like I was talking about earlier, horror is being caught off guard, and comedy works in a similar way. So some people, when they see that Mike Wazowski cameo, they'll say, huh, what are you doing here, dude? Is this a crossover episode? And they laugh so hard, their belly hurts. But here's the thing. Here's what I think would have made it scarier. The knowledge that Merlin, Dory, they would have looked like this next to him.
I am small.
Like this next to him. And then think about Sully. Oh my god, that would have got me. Is that megalophobia? Because he would have been just an absolute monster next to the little fish. I so get it. And I know you were expecting me probably to be like, what were you thinking? What? That's ridiculous. It really isn't. I feel like there's not a lot of things that I wouldn't understand fear-wise. Next, we have Lizzie McGuire's Night of the Day of the Dead. The first thing I noticed is everyone's hair is so fun. We got pom-poms, layers. Somehow we have one hairstyle that's wavy, straight, curly, up and down all at the same time. I know she's the mean girl, but this look eats. Somehow everybody has bangs. Lizzie's rocking some headbands with little ribbons coming down or little hair extensions coming off of it. We need to step up our game. Look at Miranda's shirt. And later on in the episode, her and her mother are matching with orange and lime green fits. And look at Miranda's mom's pins and earrings. Style icons for real. Maximalism was just expected back then. I miss it so much. Lizzie McGuire uses her white privilege for good, standing up for her friend Miranda after the racist popular girl tried to shut down having a Day of the Dead celebration at their school.
I want to display skeleton dolls from El Dia de los Muertos.
Why would we want to display your stuff? Because it's cool. No, it's not. It's lame. I think it's great to have stuff from other countries at our parties.
Talk, Valentina. Allies.
Now this is television. Look at how the entire class spoke up against this hateful bitch. They'd call this woke propaganda now. And dare I say, not woke enough. I just wish they'd give the kid doing impressions props. They all think he's weird, so they're just stuck rolling their eyes and acting like he's a freak. But his impressions are good. Fuck you. Dare I say, I liked his impressions better than animated Lizzie McGuire. I know I'm gonna get a lot of pushback for this, and trust me, I wanted to like animated Lizzie so bad. She's drawn in a childish way like Lizzie herself drew her. I love that every time she pops up it feels out of place. It's so campy, but holy shit, if there was ever a time I understand people's disdain for millennial humor, it's now.
I get to wear this Slinky outfit. I get to... Okay, I'm gonna need about 8 gallons of concealer for this.
Good one. I just said I could justify being afraid of anything, so I really tried for this one. I see how the skeleton's eyes lighting up could freak out a kid watching, but overall, in universe, spoiler alert, this was all made up. There are no alive skeletons. It was a costume. It was an elaborate prank on the popular girl. And it was pretty brutal. Even the adults were in on it. God damn. I'm gonna say I don't understand it. I would say there were certain visuals that really freaked me out as a kid, but the moment they say it was all just a dream or it was all made up, I was able to just dismiss it. I had so many suggestions for Large Marge, and the inclusion of Pee-wee's Great Adventure really confused me until I saw the scene. Okay, this haunted my childhood, but I had no idea what it was from. Pee-wee, whose facial expressions are identical to Ethan Slater, tell me I'm wrong, goes hitchhiking and enters this huge truck. Large Marge, before the transformation, is already quite the character, telling the story of a murder, I think? And then she turns to him and very quickly, I'm only gonna show a screenshot because it's a blinking you miss it moment, she makes this face.
Holy shit.
And it's so much worse in the movie because it's darker and more close up. Very unsettling. My husband thought it was from Beetlejuice. It reminded me personally of Brittany from Smiling Friends. The media we compared it to makes more sense for this scene to pop up in. I think it's not only how freaky it is, because it would have jump scared me anywhere, truly, but I feel like it really stuck with so many people because this wasn't in a Halloween-y movie. This wasn't in an Adult Swim show. This wasn't Pee-wee's fucking adventure. This is why I want to be in a writer's room one day. I need to see who pitches this kind of fuckery. And mind you, this came out in 1985. Imagine seeing this in a theater on drugs in 1985. Diabolical. This is going at the tippy top. I'm crapping. Toy Story 3, or as I like to call it, the finale of the Toy Story franchise. I don't care that there was a fourth, and I certainly don't care that there's gonna be a fifth. A scene many people pointed out was when they were all holding hands and heading towards that fiery inferno. Is that redundant? Anyway, this could be because I was around 12 when I saw this movie, but once again, it gave me a completely different emotional reaction. It was scary not because I thought there was any chance that Pixar would have the balls to make them die. I was sad because I was like, oh, they certainly feel this anxiety in this moment. They think this is the end for them. I wonder how they're gonna get out of this predicament, because I knew they were gonna be saved. Again, I didn't question for a moment. They have another 2 movies to make with this franchise at least. But what actually scared me was, you know that monkey that screams? The sound of that scream, the giant teeth, the way his eyes surveilled everything, the surveillance footage, him glancing at every single screen. I gotta look this up right now. Isn't there a horror movie that follows one of those damn toys? Damn, so I was right and wrong. I thought this movie was inspired by Toy Story 3. I'm so serious. I really thought this movie was inspired by Toy Story 3. It's based on a short story by Stephen King called The Monkey. So Toy Story 3 was probably inspired by Stephen King. Plus, the things just look fucking freaky in real life. I really didn't think they looked that scary. They do. Their eyes look like little hypnotism spirals. I'm gonna put them heading towards the flame, and I understand, but that damn symbol wind up toy monkey thing, that's going at the top. That's going at the top with large Marge. I'm so serious. There's something about the screech. The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack was of course brought up, and much like Chowder, this is the type of show where the few times I watch it, it gives me whiplash. I never know what's going on. The jump scare screen happens a few seconds in. Shit like this is why I didn't watch Cartoon Network until I was 14. So at the very start, Captain Knuckles is peeping at Candy Wife, who, side note, one of the very few things I do know about this series is that canonically the two of them are having an affair with each other. I didn't know if this was something that they added to the plot for the parents watching, or if they had the foresight to know that people would rewatch the show from their childhood and pick up on a plot that flew over their heads. I don't know why they do these things. Get me in a writer's room so I can judge some people. But Captain Knuckles is afraid of cats. And the moment he says this, a cat with no eyes and very tiny sharp teeth all around his circular mouth appears right in front of him, and as this still image is on screen, we hear a scream. How quickly Flapjack dismisses this terrifying creature is amusing, and he tries to show Knuckles that cats are cute. I love this cat paw transition screen. Flapjack goes to the old lady with all the cats' house. Knuckles runs away, and they show us a lot of cute cats in the house before the disturbing cat, that's the cat's actual name, the disturbing cat comes back to stare at us for an uncomfortably long time. He's not screaming this time, and he's unnerving to look at, but otherwise completely harmless. Flapjack tries playing string with this thing before picking the cat up to return him to the old lady's house, and I thought, oh no, this demon creature is going to eat all the cats there, but that's not what happens. The moment Flapjack opens the window that wasn't locked, all the cats escape the house. So the main plot is actually the cats taking over the town, and can I be honest? This episode is really bad. Not scary bad, just bad. Cat bad, so we need dogs now. Dogs bad, so we need dog catcher. Dog catcher won't leave, so let's get the scary cat back to scare them away. As stupid as it sounds, trust me, it's worse watching it. I felt my brain rotting away. The art is so dynamic and fun, I almost convinced myself I enjoyed the episode, but the whole plot that started with Knuckles hating cats and being afraid of them? Psych.
Hey, I thought you were scared of cats.
No, are you nuts? I love cats.
That's how the episode ends. That's it. I don't know why, but an episode ending with a joke that doesn't land just sours everything. It feels like they just didn't know how to end the episode and thought, yeah, that'll do. If there wasn't this creepy cat, no one would even remember this episode. Change my mind. Yeah, I'm gonna put this in ew, and not even for the creepy cat screen. That would have scared me as a kid, I will admit that. But I'm putting it in ew mostly for the anti-cat propaganda. We don't need more of that in the world. Steven Universe. Yep. More cat horror in a bit. But honestly, I think that how old I was when I found Steven Universe is definitely affecting my perception. When I was like 13, 14, when I saw Garnet torn apart, I wasn't shocked and scared. Teen Athena was thinking, whoa, that's exactly how I feel on the inside.
Shut the hell
Athena,
up, bitch.
no you didn't. You do not feel like you saw dismembered body parts Frankenstein monstered together right in front of you, screaming in agony. But I will say, I found that if there's something evil revealed for plot's sake, I'll be too interested to be scared. Does that make sense? I'm more scared by things that catch me off guard. If it's related to the story, I'm just intrigued. I'm more likely to have a thoughtful chill run down my spine than to jump out of my skin and have trouble sleeping. I understand, but I'm not scared. It sounds like I'm flexing every time. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. You're talking about a Cartoon Network show. It's not a flex. I think I forgot most of season 1, so it was such a treat to revisit Frybo and cat fingers. Starting with Frybo, this creature came to life with a gem shard. I completely forgot about that. Season 1, Steven did not yet know the implications of these shattered, lost, confused creatures. And when Pearl was trying to explain to him how serious the situation is, he was zoning out. I forgot how silly Season 1 Steven is. He needs to be protected at all costs, which he's not. But essentially, these shards are looking for a vessel. They are not only angry about the whole being dead thing, but they are also incomplete. And the longer they are undead, the more their deeply ingrained distrust and hatred of those giving orders grows. So at first, Steven's pants running on their own is funny. The sock beating him up, hilarious. Steven thought saving his friend Petey from wearing this mascot costume was a good deed, but Gem Shard Frybo quickly became violent, force-feeding people fries and tossing them around. Not much damage was done, and the villain, in air quotes, was easily defeated, but the stabbed eye with ketchup coming out of it is a strong visual, and probably what freaks me out the most are the veins. How does he have veins?
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
Even with the knowledge of gems and shards, this doesn't make sense. Why does he have veins? The rest of the episode is so incredibly goofy, so it doesn't particularly stand out to me, but it is enough to make me go, ew. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but I think Cat Fingers is scarier than Frybo. So if you don't know this episode, basically all there is to know is Steven can shapeshift, but he's very new to this. So he does not have complete control over these abilities, but wants to use these abilities to do silly things like having cat fingers. Slowly but surely, his entire body begins to morph with these cat heads, and he is screaming in agony. The gems are not there to help him. Seeing Steven's dad, Greg, react to seeing his son in this amount of pain, desperate for help, and him not knowing what to do, yeah, no, that's a genuine fear. New fear unlocked. Why I think this is scarier than Frybo, even though the visual isn't the scary part of it, it's like not having control over your own body. That's the part that gets me. It's gonna go a tier above ew. So yep, just like most of the characters in Steven Universe, I am watching baby Steven in pain and saying, no thank you, but I'll be okay. This kid deserved better. The Amazing World of Gumball episode, The Joy. I shit you not, this is the blueprint for the Smile series. Obviously, this is more of a zombie movie parody, where people are turning into mindless versions of themselves. So yes, there's obviously less gore. These colorful characters aren't smashing weights into their face or ripping their jaw off with a crowbar. 2 actual jump scares from Smile 2, by the way. Can you believe I saw that in theaters last year? I'm so brave. Back to the Amazing World of Gumball episode. They are happy zombies. I especially love the detail of the glossy eyes and rainbow drool. And listen, I will say there's still a bit of violence. This girl's arms were ripped off, and the nurse that's a band-aid gets stuck to the wall. Obsessed with this mixed media world. I want the Smiling Friends to have a crossover with them somehow, so badly. Anyway, I am just endeared by all the bloody time cards, and Miss Simeon as a horror movie protagonist just makes sense. This would specifically be her worst nightmare. She loves misery. So seeing her fight until the very end when it catches up to her, so engaging. How close she gets. She finds the cure. She makes it to the loudspeaker where she's gonna play the music to cure everyone and bring them back to their Monday blues, but she didn't make it on time. Gumball and Darwin are 2 main characters take her down. I think what sells me on the creepy factor is that the disease wins. You know what? At least a worse disease didn't win. They fought away the worst disease in the form of a PSA poster. Say no to racism. That's right. That's an actual poster in the show. I love it. This is going in, I get it, but it just makes me laugh too much. I love The Amazing World of Gumball. I feel like I still haven't seen the reboot. Do you guys like the reboot? Leave it in a comment below what you think. There's a scene in Big Hero 6, the series, where this villain, Obake, pretends to be Hero's dead brother. It is as brutal as it sounds, don't get me wrong, and I do have a whole lore video dedicated to Big Hero 6, thank you very much, but I will reiterate because it bears repeating. I am kinda used to villains pretending to be the hero's dead relative, but what I wasn't expecting was the way in which Obake went about it. I was expecting a hologram, I was expecting a robot, I was expecting this, I was expecting that. What I wasn't expecting was the fact that they blew the contact lenses into their eyes. And the close-up shot, I put it in the video because it really grossed me out. It freaked me out, it creeped me out. Them taking out the contact lenses, and it's a first-person perspective of them rubbing their eyes, and the reality they thought they were seeing disappeared. No thank you. Crapping perhaps. Actually, tier under that. No thank you, but I'm okay. I honestly forget how many superpowered humans there are in Pokemon. I was recommended the episode Haunter vs. Kadabra because this psychic gym leader Sabrina turned Brock and Misty into dolls. This happened right after Haunter ditched Ash, forcing him to quit the gym battle before it even started. And this is extra fucked because Ash forced Brock and Misty to watch the gym battle. Before it even happened, Brock and Misty were like, we're good here, thanks. They were scared because they already had a bad run-in with Sabrina in a previous episode. But Ash was saved by this man that teleported him and his Pokemon to safety. I love Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle, but they are some fake-ass bitches because look at how unbothered they are after Brock and Misty's possible deaths. The man who teleported them is Sabrina's father. We heard the backstory of how when Sabrina was a kid, she was so focused on her powers that she melted her house. This lady is the real Sabrina, but her adult self is cutthroat, competitive, and angry. And the doll she's holding on to is her child self, still desperate to play and have friends. I was so surprised Team Rocket even popped up. After that huge lore drop, I was like, wait, we don't have time for their silliness. But then a memory was unlocked. Even greater than the chicken who invented the egg. That's why I didn't remember this episode. This little song lived in my brain. I couldn't focus on the dolls. I couldn't think about anything else long enough to be freaked out about it because this moment, this chicken egg shit that came out of nowhere went triple platinum in my house. I'm not joking. This had little Athena wheezing, and I'm right there with her, honestly. Why the hell did they sing that? I love whatever's wrong with them, and I also have it. Even greater than the chicken who invented the egg. They are the reason why I am the way I am. Also, that ending is so wholesome. Haunter made Sabrina laugh so hard, she let go of her doll self and became whole again. Ash won the battle because Kadabra is telepathically linked to Sabrina, so he was laughing so hard he couldn't battle. And not only that, Misty, Brock, and Sabrina's mom were all free from the doll form. That's right. Her mom was stuck like that for who knows how long. So just because this lady laughed for the first time in her life, she is cured and her family is reunited. Listen, as creepy as this whole thing is, I'm just a sucker for a good ending. Egg ding. Even greater than the chicken who... I understand why you were scared, but my heart is full. They were reunited with their daughter, and I was reunited with the greatest song of all time. We are revisiting R.L. Stine's The Haunting Hour. We have to. It's a classic, okay? I know it's intentionally creepy, but it does it well. I was suggested and really wanted to talk about the doll episode, Really You, because we have the best actor of our generation, Bailey Madison. Make some noise. This kid is an icon. Period. what I said. I will say they did her incredibly dirty in the first shot. We have this big-headed, ugly mannequin that this pair of old hands tosses aside, and we hear a voiceover saying, "She's not good." And this face cross-fades into Bailey Madison's face. She doesn't look like that. Don't make that comparison. Main character Lily is very spoiled, and she gets this life-sized Really You doll. This doll immediately reminded me of Longlegs. It works similarly enough. Lily's mom ends up loving this doll more than her own daughter. And you know what? Fuck it. This movie was scarier than Longlegs. There, I said it. I kept waiting for a long-legged spider Nicolas Cage to appear on the screen, and it, spoiler alert, never happened. It was a ripoff. But listen, this doll, Lily D, standing over human Lily as she sleeps, it actually gave me goosebumps. Another R.L. Stine series. But listen, this shit scared me silly because of not only the sound effect, but also look how wide her eyes are. Her eyelids are up. This expression is so human. And then the doll goes back to looking completely frozen in the morning. I don't know if that was a camera trick or if they animated her real face over that for a second. In the morning, Lily the human complains about her neck being stiff. I knew what was coming, but I still wasn't ready. Lily walks all over the house looking for Lily D, and we have this fake out of her clothes hung up, but her walking all over the bathroom, I was half expecting, "Lily D? Lily D? Lily D?"
I'm trying to Lily P.
Lily D doll really hates Lily H human, so she starts framing her for random shit. The writing of "bad girl" on the wall was so goofy it took me out. The same way the "Hail Satan" twist in Longlegs took me out. I'm not scared of all that. Devil schmevel, one commenter is really gonna rebuke this. But everything else, I was on the edge of my seat. The shot of human Lily at the doctor intercut with her brother and his friend inspecting the doll. The mole on the back of Lily's neck matches the exact place where there's a screw on the back of doll Lily. And guys, I shit you not, I had that same puffy ass mole in the exact same spot. The brother snatched the doll's wig, which I can't imagine she's happy about, and the doctor says there's a 99% chance Lily has a cold. What's the other 1%? Yeah, 99% chance it's a virus, 1% chance she turns into a doll. Blah. It happens to the best of us. The brother discovers writing on this plastic bald head that says, "Destroy this doll." So what do? They put the doll back together and leave it home alone. Bruh. They meet with the doll maker and she tells them to destroy it. Yeah, we already knew that. The last shot of the doll maker scene pans over to this goofy looking doll, and here's what I think she'd sound like. "She's a bad girl." Yeah, she's a bad girl. Not like me, mummy. Yeah, the Emily Osment one I watched last year completely lulled me into a false sense of security. This is way creepier than it has any right being. The ending was all wholesome and cute, and I guess the mom really does love her human daughter. Yay. I wasn't actually gonna put this that high because the ending was super cutesy, but then when I left the house, I no joke saw this. RL actually stands for running late to the bathroom because I just shat myself. The cover of the Goosebumps book, The Barking Ghost. Now here's something fun. I did not look it up, so we're gonna have my real life reaction. Ooh. Yeah, I think I've seen that exact cover. It's weirdly like, it's disproportionate. That head's too big. Not to body shame the demon dog. It says, "bad dog." Really bad dog. It reminds me of that one scene from My Babysitter's a Vampire. Yeah, I don't like when you make cute things creepy. It makes me sad. The back of the book says, "It's a doggone nightmare." Scared of his own shadow. That's what everyone says about Cooper Holmes. I've noticed a little bit of a pattern in R.L. Stine's work. It's like the scariest shit happens to the scaredy cats, and it like empowers them a bit, I guess. Evil looking dogs who disappear into thin air. Yeah, no thank you. I agree. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't like the scowl. I don't like, for whatever reason, it's not even the sharp teeth or the scowl or the glowing eyes that's doing it for me. It's that giant butt-ass head. I don't like it.
Damn, but you look so bad!
The most suggested series by far, and it's not even close, was SpongeBob. So you know what? Maybe I liked horror more than I thought I did, because SpongeBob was my favorite show as a kid, despite being a very sensitive child and adult. We recently talked about this in Gary Come Home. That episode made me cry, and you know what other episode made me cry? Wormy. It was solely the feeling of being caught off guard, because not only do you get a close-up of a live-action bug, but it's that loud-ass fucking buzzing noise. Everyone always talks about how creepy it looked, but do you remember the sound? I would cover my ears. It wasn't even as much about the visual as much as it was about the sound. Like, I felt like I was being attacked by all of my senses. Fuck that Wormy episode, and fuck the fact that it was so sweet at first. You remember the song, Friends and friends ever, that's forever, and they're spinning around with little Wormy. Also, I don't know how Sandy did not warn them. Again, maybe she wasn't expecting for Wormy to look like that or sound like that. There's no reason why a butterfly should sound like 1,000 angry bees. Crap. We have a lot of SpongeBob episodes to get to. We have the Squidward creepypasta, which I usually find creepypastas very cheesy, like, oh, what if Squidward killed himself? He wouldn't, okay? You know, he's a grumpy guy, but you didn't watch my SquidBob video, did you? What I think adds to the creepiness is that it was acknowledged in the canon of SpongeBob. The current writers and people that work on the show are very much a part of the fandom and grew up with this show, so they are very cheeky. They very much are. And this episode aired with an even creepier version of the creepypasta, of the dark, sunken eyes and that vacant stare. People say that this confirms that there is a universe in which Squidward decided to end it all. I don't want to think about that. Also, no, here's the creepiest part, guys. They had to censor it. It aired, and then some sort of, I don't know if it's FCC, I don't know what organization, you know, they rang Nickelodeon, they're like, you can't do this. Too scary. So now it's replaced with a little baby Squidward shitting himself, and it going from death to the beginning of life makes it scarier. It's like, ooh, eerie. And the fact that now the creepypasta is real. This was something that did exist and that needed to be replaced. Like, they made it real. It's not scarier than Wormy, but I only think it's not scarier than Wormy because I only knew about the creepypasta through the reference that they made. If I read the creepypasta first and then that episode popped up on TV, that would be nuts. But I think SpongeBob has done scarier stuff that hasn't been pulled off of TV. So I don't know what they were thinking. I think the worst thing by far that was ever shown in SpongeBob history was the episode that ended with, "It all started when I was born." And it pulls away from Squidward. In this episode, SpongeBob and Squidward were fused together. But then when you think they're going to resolve the issue, like a bunch of different characters get fused together from this machine. The doctor's talking to Squidward. It all started when I was born. Zooms out and you see all of the characters fused together. And not only that, when this episode aired and I saw it for the first time, my blood ran cold. It was the first time, like, all of the little color I have in me drained down the toilet like my shit that I removed from my pants. Listen. So I was already freaked the fuck out. And this is when I started to get a little brave. So I was like, surely that's not as horrific as maybe my brain was making it look scarier than it actually was. So I remember rewinding and pausing, and then I took a closer look. Oh dear God, it's so much worse than I thought it was. I'm like getting upset thinking about it. Like, I don't even know if I'm gonna put the image in here. I'll show it for a second. 3, 2, 1. It's so, if you choose to go back and look at it, don't. It's like steaming and you see the characters melting and they're in pain and they're They're like melting and they're like, what's the word, writhing? They're in like a blob, a fleshy blob. And that's going ahead of large Marge. I feel like there are so many SpongeBob timelines that end with like gruesome death. And then it's like, the end, it restarts next time. Don't think about that too much. Fuck yourself. In the episode I Had an Accident, appropriate title because same, SpongeBob shatters his ass. For whatever reason, he gets injured and he shatters into a million pieces. That part already didn't sit right with me. He gets agoraphobia. Relatable king. He doesn't want to leave the house. He sings that amazing indoor song with his best friends, Penny, Chip, and Used Napkin, you already know. Trio of the Century. Has anybody done that for a Halloween costume? Please tell me someone has done that. Probably. Kind of like the Flapjack episode. It seems like they didn't know how to end it. Maybe it was just like SpongeBob's worst fears coming to life, but then have him wake up. Oh, it was all a night. This is like the one time I wanted it to be it was all a nightmare type shit, but no. A gorilla under the sea rips SpongeBob in half, is like beating the shit out of everyone. SpongeBob points out, how is there a gorilla underwater? He rides off into the sunset with a zebra. There was like this mini series of like undiscovered Bikini Bottom mysteries. And one thing they also pointed out was the whole sunset under the water thing, which never even occurred to me. I'm like, don't give me more to think about. I already have enough to think about. The reason why this creeps out so many people, other than just the genuine violence and gorillas, primates are scary, is the lack of closure. The scary thing is the lack of closure. What was that? Was their objective to freak everyone out? So I look it up on the wiki thinking that there's going to be some trivia or some interviews that it points me to. There isn't any explanation. I am just once again left with more questions. What do you mean this is an ongoing character? I made this video in 2024 of me talking about old characters that they bring back, and I thought that was the extent of it, but every single character they've brought back, it's a bit much. It's a bit much. This is going in the highest tier. Lower than the It All Started When I Was Born, and a bit lower than Large Marge, just because we at least have the indoor song to fall back on. At least, if we have nothing else, we have that. I know of a place where you never get harmed, a magical place with magical charms, indoors, indoors, indoors. A lot of people suggested the scene where the Flying Dutchman scares Squidward, and there were a lot of very trippy visuals, a lot of real nightmare fuel, the spiders crawling out, the clarinet going through Squidward's head. There is no reason I should have not been scared of this, but I was not scared of this solely because the Flying Dutchman goes, ooh, scary. And Squidward shouts, that's impossible. When I laugh, this thing happens where I forget the last 30 seconds. I black out from joy. So I'll put it in ew. I'll put it in ew for sure. The visuals were very gross out to me, but I'm not scared because I don't know why I'm not scared. Flying Dutchman ain't real. I don't know. I want to intellectualize it, but sometimes it's just as simple as I didn't feel that way when I watched it. And I couldn't tell you why. This is a very, very interesting and engaging video. Everyone say, you're doing great. In my last SpongeBob video, where I talked about Gary Come Home, and I framed that as the biggest SpongeBob mistake, especially towards Gary, people were quick to point out the episode A Pal for Gary. And I genuinely blocked out that episode because it enraged me. It pissed me off so fucking badly. Thank you for correcting me. I do appreciate corrections. I just cannot believe I fully blocked that out of my memory because I was getting so mad at my boy. I love SpongeBob, but sometimes they characterize him as just as malicious as Patrick. Do not do that to me. So, if you're confused, SpongeBob brings home this creature and it keeps clearly trying to devour Gary. It keeps trying to eat Gary. It's gruesome. It undergoes this kind of cute to horror type of transformation, but it was never like really cute. There was always something a little off about it, but this thing transforms. It's trying to kill Gary. As this creature is trying to eat Gary and SpongeBob, SpongeBob is scolding Gary. SpongeBob is yelling at Gary. Gary saves his life. He's still scolding him. It's not canon because I say it's not. I'm not scared. I'm fucking fuming. I don't like it. I'm making a new tier called I'm not scared, but I don't like it, and I hate it, and I want it gone. I want it gone. The episode Planet of the Jellyfish is so much better than I remember it being. It is inspired by the horror movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This is another episode where SpongeBob brought in a dangerous creature that preyed on Gary. We are introduced to these aliens that the wiki calls the Jellians, who use clones of the jellyfish to clone all of Bikini Bottom. The actual process of them doing so is the creepiest part. They eat the victims, put them in pods, and then squirt out this soft serve consistency that turn into their clones, with the only visual difference being these completely glossy black eyes. Except for Gary, who was cloned alongside this potted plant, so the clone is a combination of the two. Spots on Gary's skin, flowers as his eyes, a pot for his shell. It's kind of a sleigh. If I put together an alien clone Gary costume, you think it'd be fun, or is that too niche? Is there such a thing as too niche on gay Halloween? Sandy being the only other survivor helping SpongeBob out was a really fun idea, a great choice. The alien's weakness being mayo, mwah. The way the final boss battle ended, with them using the dead goo of this alien as Krabby Patty relish, they were all literally eating the bad guy at the end. It was perfect. No notes. Perfect amount of creepy. Lots of funny jokes.
Squidward and Mr. Krabs. Patrick too. And some random guy.
I'm gonna put it in ew. And I need to be very clear, that doesn't mean I don't like it. It means that there were some gross out there for sure, but this might have been the thing I watched in this video that made me the happiest. Like, it was just really fun. Jakers, Adventures of Piggly-Winks. It's been so long since I watched the show. It always starts with Grandpa Piggly-Winks telling his grandkids a story. And this time, it's about the importance of trusting adults when they tell you that something is too scary for you, I guess. Cute. But since this guy is old as shit, look at his parents' fits. It's time for baby grandpa to go to bed, but he wants to listen to the creepy radio show. You're old. And the show he's listening to really scares him, but it's so cheesy. It's about alien cabbages.
My cabbages!
The parents were really on top of this kid's antics, but once he was in his room, he was listening through the door. The moment Piggly woke up and was surrounded by cabbages, I knew it was a nightmare scene, but I wasn't expecting him to also be aware of this. He learned that he was dreaming because the sheep starts talking, which I guess he usually doesn't. I don't know, it doesn't really seem out of place in this world, so I was a bit lost. Once Piggly realizes that he's asleep, he begins to lucid dream, flying around in his pretend rocket. Piggly meets up with his friend Fernie, and Fernie tries to fly, but can't. I don't know why I really thought Piggly was about to flex on the dream version of his friend. Oh, you can't fly because it's my dream and I don't want you to, wee! They really had fun with the nonsensical dream logic of this show, because all of his dream friends are acting like they're fully alive. Dan and the duck is scolding him even in his head. The cabbage thing went so far. The clouds are cabbages. The sweet store had cabbages in a variety of colors and flavors that honestly, I would try. They look so fun. Why are they screaming? I'll take 20. Now we're starting to get creepy because Danon's skin is now leafy green with the same cabbage texture. The lanky cabbage monsters moving like they're in West Side Story is probably what heebed your GBs. They're so big, and I get it, but I gotta be honest, I think they're kinda cunt, and Jimmy Neutron really prepared me for tomfoolery like this. Like, dude, those lima bean monsters were way scarier. The part that actually got me was Fernie turning into a cabbage. They promise each other they won't get infected, and when they handshake, this leafy hand has a jump scare sound. Ha! No joke, I actually jumped. Sorry. Not only that, but his skin didn't turn leafy like Danon's. He just turned into a giant ferny colored cabbage. He's not alive anymore. The way Jakers says his name also really sells it. Even in his dream, he wasn't ready to say goodbye. This is grief.
Ah, Fernie. I'm really sorry.
What you just felt, that's grief. And honestly, I'm disturbed, even at my big age. Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna put this in no thank you. Just for that scene alone. Everything else was goofy and silly, but that, I don't know why, seeing him as an actual giant cabbage with his, like, outfit color, nah. I really don't like that. After the cabbage episode, you know we gotta end with VeggieTales. The very first episode of VeggieTales is called Where's God When I'm Scared? Which does sound like it would be a bit heavier. It sounds like it would be the title of a novel, not an episode of an animation with singing produce. But here we are. There's an asparagus child named Junior who watched a scary movie about frankencelery, and he won't admit it, but he's afraid. Ooh, I know what'll make him feel better. 2 home intruders preaching to him about the word of Jesus Christ. Oh, wow, yeah. So Larry and Bob break into this kid's room. This is probably one of the most overtly Christian episodes. Ooh, scary. Bob sings about these scary little monsters that appear surrounding the kid before explaining that God is bigger than all of the terrible things in the world. Wild recruitment tactic. Bob is also short-tempered with the kid.
What do you see up there?
My curtains.
No.
I'm sorry, you broke into my house to preach at me, and now you're getting snappy?
I'm going to call the police.
To calm the kid down, they even introduce him to the actor that played Frankencelery. Dude is not booked and busy if he has the time to explain to every scared kid that he's just an actor and that God is real. Then in the second half of the episode, they talk about the story of Daniel. These wise men chives hate Daniel because he's second in command to the king, which is the job they wanted. So as they sing and conspire murder, they do this nefarious little dance. Why does this song rock? The overlapping of different vocals? Perhaps I gotta chill, okay? Perhaps this is the blueprint for We Don't Talk About Bruno. The wise men convinced the king to make a law where people only pray to him. I guess they proposed this law knowing how devout Daniel is, so they catch Daniel praying to not the king, which is illegal, so the punishment is a night in the lion's den. You either pray the right way, or become prey yourself. Bars. I just came up with that. But Daniel survives because apparently bad things don't happen to people that believe. You know, I'll take your word for it. And then the king says this.
I've got it, a new law. From this day forth, everyone will pray only to Daniel's God.
Okay, so nothing was solved. People still don't have freedom. I'm gonna rank this at, I don't know. I'm not scared of it personally, but I get it. I actually do get it. I will say that. But lovers, I sure hope you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe if you did. And as always, I'm not gonna tell you to have a great day unless you watched my Great Wolf Lodge video. Yeah, I'm pulling out the big guns. Absolutely. And like it too, the video said. That's annoying. I gotta get that to stop doing that. Anyway, the Great Wolf Lodge video, I'm not sure if I mentioned it. It's so much fun. I went to every single one. I became a level 1000 wizard. I'm so tired. Have a good one. Bye.